live. Welcome back to another episode of Foxing Around. I'm your host, Raymond Fox.
I'm your co-host, River Thomas.
Hey, man, what a week we just had, bro. We had a very special guest come on last week at a beach, man. It was a crazy episode. We got a lot accomplished. I'm very proud of everything that happened and everything we did, bro. It was monumental, eh?
Yeah, for real, man. And this is just the beginning, like that's we're not out the hood yet, bro.
No.
We got to keep grinding. We got to keep working, man. That was nice to taste that little bit of success there, but we're still going to be going hard day in and day out to give everybody the best possible experience and hopefully keep everybody entertained. But we have big things coming for sure, bro. Big things. Speaking of big things, you want to tell them about merch?
Oh, yeah. Hey, everybody, we got some merch happening. So we're going to release the mock-up probably in the next couple of days. We'll be showing you guys what our t-shirts will look like, and hopefully everyone wants to order one. We'll set you guys up. We got all different sizes, and we're going to be mailing out everywhere. So we're looking forward to that. There's a few things that we do want to send out really quickly. We just want to send prayers and love to the family of Fred Sasakamoose, a legend in Saskatchewan, in Canada, in the Indigenous hockey community. He lost his bout with COVID, and we're just sending love and prayers to his family and to everybody around. Me personally, I'd also like to send out some love and some prayers to my family back home in the Sweetgrass First Nation with the loss of my cookum, Lorraine Fox. Sending love to all my uncles, my aunties, my cousins, everybody out there. We just wanted to, give our love and gratitude. So I'd also like to shout out Saddle Lake real quick, man. I spent a nice weekend up there, man, with the Wood family. I just want to give them a quick shout out, man. So hopefully you guys are doing good over there.
Hey, back on the saddle and saddle. Let's go.
How it is, bro. You know how it is. Well, I think we got a guest, man. We got a guest for you guys. Our big brother. That's the best way I can describe him. He's our big brother. He's somebody that's always looked after us, man. He's been an inaugural part of who we are as people. So, I think he's just about ready. We're going to give him a second here. First things first, we'd like to give a shout out to Uncle Joey. Joey Styles, man. He sent us some fresh gear, man. So
War Chief.
We got the Trap Famous Blessed Street gear. So thank you so much to Uncle Joey, man. I think he's been with us from the start, man. He believed in what we did right off the jump. So we love him so much. Thank you, Joey.
Thank you.
All right. Well, without further ado, man, we're going to introduce our guest, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jason Chakita.
Hey.
What's good, brother?
Hey, what's good, guys?
Hey, man, we're super excited to have you. Thank you for joining us.
Well, thanks for having me, boys. It's an honor. Greatly appreciated.
Hey.
Beautiful toque too, bro. Beautiful toque.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Stress Street. There we go. Well, I want to get right into it, bro. What have you been up to lately? I know you got a little bit of music coming out. That's with Stress Street. I know you've been doing some music with them too. You're busy in your community right now, being a leader. What have you been up to in the COVID times, bro?
Just trying to keep our community safe. Trying to do as much as we can to stop the spread of the COVID in our nation. It's been a battle, not just with our nation, but every nation out there, right? Like, it's crazy right now.
For sure, brother. Has it been tough to kind of navigate that personally as well too? You've been masking up, keeping social distancing, stuff like that, trying to stay healthy so you can feed the community.
Yeah. It's for me, it's really hard. I'm classified as a social butterfly. I love hanging with my family and friends. For me, my family and my friends are everything. That's life right there. I classify myself as a very rich man, not because of money and possessions, but because of the people I have in my life and that help to guide me and keep me on this path. So it's really a trying time for me right now. Not being able to hang out with all these people. My birthday is tomorrow. I had a little celebration with 5 people last night. And it's hard.
For sure.
Yeah, bro, for sure. And like, if we weren't in the current predicament that we're in right now, we definitely would have had you in the studio for sure, right? Either we would have drove up there, would have set up, you could have drove up here. would have been a good time. But we'll definitely, once everything does subdue, we'll definitely get you in again, bro, and you'll come sit in the studio with us and we'll kick it back.
Yeah, it's a vibe like no other in the studio, man. I think it's dope. I want you to take us back a little bit. People don't know your story too much, but I think we're ready to tell it here, and we're really excited. So start with your early life. Where did you grow up, and how did you grow up?
For most part of my life, I grew up in Red Pheasant, Sweetgrass, and North Battleford. My father's family was from Mosquito First Nation. Well, his dad was from there. My mushroom was from there. My cookum was actually from Red Pheasant. My mom's from Sweetgrass, so I kind of went back and forth as a child, and I was in and out of school for a little bit when I was younger, and North Balford is, you have to be here to know what it's like, be from here to know what it's like. People say we play the race card a lot, but on a daily basis, man, I was faced with racism as, not just a young person, but even to this day, and it was definitely a struggle. My mom was a single mother. She did the best she could for everything, and always kept us fed. She worked, numerous jobs to try and keep food on the table. And it was a struggle growing up that way, seeing my family like that, and just always having to be, pretty much had to be an adult. I did, didn't have much of a childhood. I tried, I seen some rank stuff at early ages, you know what I mean? 9, 10, 11 years old, I seen a murder. Just back then that was the lifestyle, right? Everybody partied, you know what I mean? That was the thing. Everybody go to a party, and I know we were at actually my cousin's house when I was younger. We were playing Nintendo. We were watching the little kids, and they were partying outside, and seeing homie get murdered right outside on the street. You know what I mean? And just it's crazy out here sometimes.
For sure. And you kind of touched on that a little bit. Growing up with a single mother. Was it tough? Without that positive kind of male reinforcement at a young age. And do you think that that's something that played a factor into your later life?
Yeah, I lost my father at an early age. I might have been 2, so I didn't have a father. I had a few father figures that, my Uncle Melvin got into a bad accident. He was one of my main father figures, when I was younger. Became in a vegetative state, couldn't talk, couldn't do nothing. He was in, home care, palliative care for years and years. All my grandfathers, except for one, passed away at early age. For me, and my late Uncle Bruce, probably one of the greatest men I've ever known. One of the most happy-go-lucky guys. It was mental health issues. You know what I mean? I lost him, and that kind of. Kind of hit me pretty hard, because I know the struggles with mental health and depression. I go through it every day. I battle. Everybody has their demons. You know what I mean? Nobody's demons are bigger than anybody else's. And it's. It used to be frowned upon for guys like myself. It's supposed to be a big, bad, tough guy. And, I'm shedding a couple tears right now, and it is what it is, right? I don't care what people think about me. You know what I mean? I'm a human, right? And um, it's the best thing you can do is just talk to people. You know what I mean? When you're in those kind of situations with depression and stuff. But yeah, I lost all my father figures at an early age, um, and that was hard for me. I rebelled a lot. Um, I I don't know. I kind of blamed everybody else for my issues. You know what I mean? Like I think we all do that quite often. It's the easiest thing to do is to blame everybody else. Um, and then you go from there. So I had a hate on for people. Right from an early age. I went to um, I went to a group home when I was younger. I went to a group home in Green Lake where I was physically abused. They beat me, and um, there's supposed to be places where they take you to to better you, to give you programming, to help you heal or give you structure. And they physically beat me. Um, I was in the day school time. I kind of caught the end of residential schools with Duck Lake and all those. I was signed up, enrolled, went for a day, and I ran away. And then that's when I went to the group home. From the group home in Green Lake, I took off from there, got charged for assault at an early age. Then they sent me to a group home in Regina called Ranchero, where the abuse escalated. I was physically, sexually abused by a female staff, beaten by men. I was 12 years old and I was beaten by a 35-year-old man. Like I was, you know what I mean? Like throw up your dukes, we're going. You know what I mean? And then it just kind of all escalated from there, right?
Right. So you're kind of you're in a place where there's not really much family, there's not really much love, there's nothing to it must feel like you're hopeless in a lot of senses. Is that kind of where you take the next step and you start to get involved early in the gang life, and are you trying to be somebody? Are you looking for something, or was it just more of all that built up hate and aggression that you had at that very young age?
So for me, the gang life was more, I watched all these movies, Scarface, Goodfellas, all these gangster movies, and you've seen all these guys driving these fancy cars and, lots of money and bling and women, gorgeous women, and, and this and that. So that kind of turned me on to the gang life. But excuse me, closer to my, I at a young age I got charged for some, pretty serious crimes. I did a lot of time in young offender and adult. 13, almost 14 years in prison total. But I took it upon myself, I needed to make that reputation for myself to be the biggest, baddest dude walking the street, or, if I'm walking on this side of the street, and I see you walking down the street, I wanted you to cross the street to get out of my lane. You know what I mean? And I wanted people to know, hey, there's Chakita, man, don't cross that guy. So I did everything in my power to do that, right? And it took me a lifetime to build that reputation, and it's going to take me the rest of my life to get rid of it. I was always a good person. I just did what it took to survive and to create that reputation. So when I was in juvie, I was approached by some youngsters in Regina, and they asked me if I wanted to crew up with whoever, and it wasn't like one of these big gangs. It was just a bunch of us to protect ourselves inside, right? Because there was a lot of older kids, older guys, and that's where it started, right? And And then from there, it just kind of escalated. You know, for me, unfortunately, the prison systems are like an education system. You know, you go from juvie to correctional to fed time. You know, it'd be like going from, you know, junior high to high school to university. You learn more and more about crimes and how to make stuff happen, right? And unfortunately, you know, there's not a lot of rehabilitation in those places, and you know they don't care. That's how they make their money, right? By inmates coming in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, bro. And it sounds like from the get go, all you learned was survival, right? That's literally what it was. It's like it triggered a fight or flight. And I guess one thing with that is probably something that you felt from joining that crew, joining that gang. And I believe so many First Nations kids today feel is it's a sense of belonging. It's like a sense of family that you had, but it's all oftentimes I feel it's misguided. You know what I mean? Because it's that sense of family, and they'll be there for now. But like when shit hits the fan, whenever the going gets tough, it's like once again you find yourself all alone. That's kind of feel like how the gang systems pull in all the youth these days too.
Yeah, well, for sure they kind of butter them up, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, they make it look like it's all hunky dory, you know, cakes and pies, and oh hey bro, here's some booze, here's some weed, you know, come hang out, we're partying, you know what I mean? Then once you get into that lifestyle and they start making you do stuff, you know, the whole thing about, you know, I can't say the bad thing about gang. Being in a gang is terrible to begin with. Um, like you said, it gives you that whole, it's a whole false sense, you know. Um, you think about it this way. You're my brothers. You know, I've grown up. I've watched you kids grow up. You know, you into young, you know, fucking handsome young men. Pardon my language. You know, and I'm so proud of you guys. You have no idea. You know what I mean? Like no clue how proud of you guys I am. You know, you both walked the same streets I did. You know what I mean? We also have other family members, you know, that are still involved in that lifestyle. You know, we pray for them every day. You know, we don't love them any less. But it's a false sense that they project to these young people, and they bring them in. And then once they get them in their hook, line, and sinker, you're screwed. You know, if you don't obey what they do, they beat the shit out of you. They give you your minutes. They discipline you. You know what I mean? You know, sometimes they get you strung out on fucking any kind of drug, and you know, and if they get you strung out, they can get you to do anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no love. There's no love in those systems. You know, back in the day, you know, it wasn't even about gangs. It was just the boys. You know what I mean? It's, you know, we had a crew. It was a crew. It's just the boys. You know, the family that we hung around with, and it had nothing to do with being in a gang. It had to be about, you know, that's my family, right? That was my legit family. You know, and there was honor. You know, you know, we fought lots as fists, you know, with fists in the back in the day, and man, every day I'd probably fight 2 or 3 times. You know, I've been in over 700 fights in my life. You know, but there was oddly, you know, and people might, you know, think I'm talking on my ass, but there was honor back then. You know, you could trust your brother. You could, you know what I mean. Now you get all these guys that call you man. So many fake people out there throwing and bro around. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's, you know, 3 times this week it's happened to me. You know what I mean? I made a stat about it on Snapchat 2 days ago or something. You know what I mean? There's just so many fake people out there, and you know, we have to be aware of that, because those fake people will bring you down to the bottom real quick, right? Mm-hmm. But definitely no good comes of being in a gang. You know, they exploit all your weaknesses, and you know, there's no love in there for real. If you mess up bad enough, they'll kill you. What kind of homie is that? You
Yeah.
know, don't get me wrong. I've got lots of friends that are still in the gangs. You know what I mean? You know, when they come to my house, they leave that shit at the door.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've got nothing but respect for everybody. Everybody treats me with respect. I treat them with respect. Anybody who knows me knows that. You know, I'll treat you with the utmost respect. I'll go to war for you. If you're my family or friend, I'll go to war for you no matter what. You know, but once you treat me with disdain or disrespect, we're done. You know what I mean? It's, you know, the life is too short to be putting up with stuff like that. And, you know, you have to keep your real family close and try as much as you can to, you know, one of my mottos, actually, I was talking with Ray a little earlier, is, you know, I want to be a better man today than I was yesterday. You know, so I just keep striving to be a better person no matter what, you know. And the thing you're going to realize is the more success you have in becoming that better person, or, you know, getting out of the gutter and bringing yourself up, you know, I ain't better than nobody else by any means. We're all on the same level. Like I said, we all have our demons, right? But people are going to continuously try and bring you down. No matter, put it this way, I could do 100 million things great in my life, and people will remember me for the one bad thing. You know, and it is what it is. That's society today. Look at the news. All they talk about is, you know, death and war, and you know what I mean. You know, there's no positive reinforcement in our life, and I try and do that on my social media once in a while. I'll do little draws and stuff, free draws. You know, I'll go and pick stuff up, and I'll do a draw. You know, like Christmas time, I'll do a giveaway for a couple of kids gifts, and you know, with something like that, I ask people to post something positive that they remember about being, you know, at home with their parents when they were kids. And, you know, I try and bring that positive reinforcement to social media, because if you look at your social media, it's all negative. It's all drama, right?
True. Yeah.
Everybody's doing something for a like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it is what it is, you know, but we need more positive reinforcement. And that's one of the great things about foxing around, man. There's so much positivity in this, man, and you know, this is gonna go so far. It's gonna go a long way, and you know, man, I'm just so proud of you guys. You know, and I speak nothing but great to everybody I know. You know, I bring you guys up. You know, and the only thing I don't like is I've told River this before all the time. All he does is he does this little smile, and he's got this stoic ass look every time, and we got to doll up for like 4 hours to even remotely get on his level. Yeah, you gotta stop doing that, cuz.
Nah, bro, man, you're the one who got into his over 700 fights, and you still look handsome as hell. What are you talking about, bro?
That's because it's leather skin.
There we go. There we go. I want to talk to you a little bit more, because you said, you know, the systems that are in place, like when you're incarcerated, you know, when you got to your adult life, you did 6 years, you know, 6 years at one time. That's a long time for anybody. But when you're in that jail cell and you're alone with your thoughts, and you're in the belly of the beast, basically, you know, because jail's not a place that anyone wants to be. Are there moments where, you know, you're scared for your life? Is it fight or flight in there every day? Was there moments where you were, you know, more terrified? What was that system like to kind of navigate through?
Okay, well, first of all, for a lot of people on here following that don't know me, you know, I'm 6'7", 350 pounds. I've been in a lot of fights. I can handle myself, and I will tell you straight up: if somebody tells you that they were not scared when they went to prison, they are full of shit. It's either that or they have some severe mental issues. Like it's not even a joke, man. Like, man, I was like, correctional. I went from juvie right to the correctional, and then after the correctional, I escaped and whatever, and then I got sentenced to a federal sentence. Man, man, you can't sleep when when your date's coming for them to transfer you to the federal system. If you've never been there, man, I couldn't sleep for 4 days. And they take me in there, and you're new to all this federal system, and it's a big difference, right? It's a big change. I was definitely scared, and I'd be a liar if I told you otherwise.
For sure.
Yeah, bro. I mean, how was it, I guess, just going straight into the correctional for the first time? Like, what do you see? What do you feel that's like so different? And like, I'm sure 6 years felt like 1,000 in there, man. That it's like the same thing every single day, right?
Well, the crazy thing about my 6 years is I did 3.5 of it in segregation, 23.5-hour lockdown. So you want to talk about time dragging on? We did some stuff in there to survive that. I was in a medium security system, and I did some stuff in there, and not proud of, but I probably wouldn't change it, because if I did, I probably wouldn't be here today.
Mm-hmm.
Or where I got maxed, and as soon as I got to a maximum, they the internal protective security officer or whatever set me up in Edmonton Max and put me right on a unit where the guys I ran into in the other jail ran that unit. Mm-hmm. So they instantly tried to kill me within 10 minutes. And a lot of my I don't know how you put it. I guess a lot of my my anxiety comes from the last 6 years I did. You go from being 23.5-hour lockdown with no human contact, other than the guards, walking by, or somebody throwing you your food. I didn't get to go to yard with anybody. I got, half-hour yard, and it was by myself, right? And you go from that, being in segregation, to them releasing me on full parole. So I had no interaction with crowds or, lots of people. And, I got to North Battleford. First day, my grandma's like, hey, well, let's go for supper. So I went to Dragon Palace. Dragon Palace, for anybody who doesn't know, North Battleford was the bomb, all-you-could-eat Chinese buffet. Pizza was disgusting, though. If you ever go there, don't eat the pizza. But so we went there, and this was my first day out. And literally, I had the worst panic attack anxiety I've ever had in my life. I thought I was going to die. There was just too many people coming and going. Like, I was head on a swivel, trying to look every direction. Literally grabbed a steak knife and I sat in a corner. And then I had to leave. I went outside. I sat on there's a little cement step there. I sat there and I broke down, and I cried. I didn't know what the hell was wrong. I didn't know what was going on. So then I went to my mom's, and I lived in the basement of my mother's place. Literally stayed in the basement for 18 days. Had a little TV down there, Didn't leave the house. Nothing. The 18th day, I don't know what, General Investigative Services, whatever, the crime gangster guys kicked in my mom's door and charged me for 2 home invasion armed robberies, which is kind of odd when you've never left the house in 18 days from being released. It's just another ploy to get me out off the street. So I was arrested on a Tuesday, and they said, oh, well, you go to court Friday. So Friday rolls around, And, anybody who's ever been in the cells there, I had this little crappy bar of soap, and I was kind of putting it in my hair to like gel Friday. And all of a sudden, the guy was like, "What are you doing? You're not going nowhere." I said, "Well, you said I had court today." "Oh, no, all charges were dropped. You just revoked your parole. You're going back to the pen." So stuff like that. That's things like that's legitimate real life situations that we as I've seen it numerous times with Native people. We get stuff like that. Like, and of course, obviously because of my name, obviously the RCMP didn't want me in the city. But when you're trying to change your lifestyle to be a better person and stuff like that keeps happening, it is so hard to get out of it. So hard. It's just, you feel like everybody's against you. Tupac said it best, it's me against the world. And that's what it feels like. When in all actuality, it's not. But it feels like that, right?
For sure. I want to talk to you about that because there was a moment and there was some times that you decided that this wasn't for you anymore. You wanted to get out of the gang life. You didn't want to stay where you're at. And you found some people, I believe, that believed in you. Talk to us a little bit about the Friendship Center. Talk to us a little bit about your start in hockey and just kind of slowly getting out of that life and starting a new one.
All right, so I finally got released on my stat from the federal penitentiary, and I came to North Balford, and I went and put out a bunch of resumes. I went to I don't know, there's a place in the Co-op Mall here where you used to be able to do like resumes and stuff, and so I did that, and no callbacks. So then I started going to the Friendship Center because they had like soup and bannocks in the evenings, right? So I started going to the Friendship Center, and I knew the people who ran the Friendship Center, which are great people, Jackie Kennedy, Billy Kennedy, all those people. Man, I got nothing but love for those people. Those people helped me out so much, I can't express my sincere gratitude and love for them enough. But I was going to the Friendship Center, and they had the computers there, so I'd go and I'd look for work, on the sasjobs.ca or whatever it was called at the time. Excuse me. Then I'm making resumes. I literally put out a couple hundred resumes, not even joking. I got one callback. One was from Walmart. So I'm like, oh yeah, sweet. Man, they hire everybody at Walmart, right? Like, not even a joke. Man, they hire, you see people that that are, not very well off or, having their own demons that work at Walmart. They even hire the special needs people to say hello to you at the door. You know what I mean? Much love, and so I was like, man, I'm getting a job. So I go to Walmart. They set me up for I do my interview. Then I leave. I come back a week later, and they said, "Oh, your orientation." So I walk in to do orientation, and this little old guy with gray hair, he interviewed me. He's like, "Oh, what's going on? Nobody called you?" I was like, "What are you talking about?" And they're like, "Oh, we can't hire you." And he was just shaking. I was like, "What do you mean you can't hire me?" And just so you're aware, right on your application for work, they ask you if you've had any criminal charges. Obviously, I couldn't name them all because I've had a few. But I did say yes, I had some criminal charges, and I wrote down a few, and I put it on there. I said yes, I do have a criminal record, but it stated right on there that your criminal past will not be used against you whether you get a job or not, to decide if you get a job. So I was like, right on. Well, that was some horse shit. And I literally told the guy, I said, "What do you mean?" I said, "You can't hire me." I said, "You hire everybody." I said, "You even got the special needs guy give me a damn sticker when I walked in." You know? But yeah, and that's another major issue that we as First Nations people, not even First Nations people, anybody being incarcerated needs help with, is work. You know, stability when they get out, when they're released. You know, so what do you do when you can't find a job? You go back to what you know. I wanted so bad to change. The only thing I knew was hustling. You know what I mean? And I did. I hustled. You know, I guess I can't say just hustled because um, anybody from the street knows hustling doesn't mean you're a gangster or a drug dealer. It means you do what it takes to make money, right? And that's what hustling is. You know, and I did. You know, I knew drug dealing. That's what I did. I knew that. So I had to go back to that to survive. But all the time I was doing that, I didn't do it on the level that I did it before. I did it just enough to keep me fed, you know, as I looked for work, you know. And at the Friendship Center, I was every day I was in there. Then one day, I can't remember. They brought some guitars and they had bought some guitars for their youth. Well, being in and out of prison, you learn to play guitar. Quite a few people learn while they're in prison. So I picked up one of these guitars and I started playing, and a couple of the kids came over, a couple of the youth. They came over and they're like, "Hey, can you teach us how to play?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, sure, I can show you something." You know, so the first day or two, and this is like every day I was in the Friendship Center. And I said, after we have soup and bannock or whatever we had that meal was, you know, we could learn to play guitar. And you know, after a few days, I had a few of them come in, and you know, at the end of the week, there was about 15 kids there wanting to learn how to play guitar. About a week later, I had the director come. You know, "Hey, what are you doing?" Jackie Kennedy. And I said, "Oh, I'm just teaching them how to, you know, play a little something." And she's like, "Oh, are they learning?" I said, "Yeah." And a couple of the kids showed them some stuff, and she's like, "Awesome." And she's like, "Oh, I realize I noticed you've been in here, you know, doing resumes and looking for work and whatnot. Have you found a job?" And I was like, "No." And she's like, "Well, we have an opening. Would you like a job?" And I was like, "Yes, I would. I'll take it." And she's like, "Well, you don't even know what it's going to be." And believe me, guys, when I say this from the bottom of my heart, a job is a job. If you're flipping burgers, you're making money. I don't care if you work at McDonald's. I don't care if you're a COO of a Fortune 500 company. You are putting in work. That is life skills, right? Whether you flip burgers for 10 years or 2 years or 1 month, you're putting in work. Don't ever let anybody degrade you because you work at McDonald's. Tim Hortons. Look at those people right now. Those people are out there risking, you know, every day just to make us a coffee. You know, but I told her, I said, "You know what? I'll scrub toilets with a toothbrush as long as I'm working." And she says, "Oh, you don't have to do that." She says, "We're going to hire you to be the assistant youth activities program coordinator." And, you know, my heart just dropped. You know what I mean? Because it's like, this is a legitimate establishment where they have youth, you know, and you'd figure a person like me would be the last person they'd hire because I have a criminal record and you know, all this stuff. And, you know, it was, you know, it was probably one of the greatest feelings in my life that, you know, that somebody wanted me to help them out or give me a job, and they believed in me,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and that was it. They believed in me, you know, and like I said, man, I love those people so much. They're unbelievable people, and Jackie and Billy Kennedy, man, they've opened doors for a lot of people, like a lot of people, and what's another thing, when somebody opens a door for you, if you're in a struggle, even if you're not in a struggle, run through that door full force. Don't ever second guess it. If somebody opens a door for you, walk through that door, run through that door, but go through that door and try it. You know what I mean? It's it works wonders. You know what I mean? Like I said, look at me today, and that was just from that start. So they got me my job, and I didn't have my license for a lot of years. So they actually offered to help me get my license. They helped pay for my I don't know, whatever driving course I had to do. They had to I don't know, had to get bonded to make sure that, that I wouldn't do nothing stupid. They put their necks on the line for me, and I'm sure people have done that before that situation, but it never really clicked in until then, and that meant so much to me. It was it was so overwhelming. I literally, I went at home and I cried, and I just cried, and I wasn't sad. It was tears of joy that, what I mean? I've never had that feeling before where somebody believed in me enough to, to help me out and put their neck on the line for me and go to bat for me. So I worked there for quite some time, and, it was a contract job. So after, I think, 6 months, the monies would run out and they didn't have to reapply. So I started working roofing with another late friend of mine, and he helped me out a lot as well. But then I got hired back at the Friendship Center the next, after they got their funding again. And we used to run this all native. They call it the All Native Stanley Cup. Was a full contact hockey tournament for First Nations and Métis people. And I didn't know hockey. You know what I mean? I grew up in the streets. I grew up, beating people up or fighting, and it's totally a different level, like it's another world almost. And so the hockey tournament's rolling around, and then Jackie's like, "Oh, you probably know some hockey players. Put a team together." And I'm like, "I don't know shit all about hockey." I literally watched hockey for the fights because, man, there was, it was unreal, right? But I said, okay. So I go around North Balfour, an area, different nations, and I said, hey, all of my bros that play hockey and grew up playing hockey, and that, in my eyes, because we had these little hockey 3 times a week, I think we rented ice for our youth and our whatever, we'd go play shinny, and so all these boys would come out, all the native boys, and I'm like, man, these guys are good, right? And I couldn't skate for shit. Like, I looked like Bambi out there. Literally, I think I was Curtis, or Corey, sorry, I think I was 25 when I started playing hockey, or 24, one of the two. But I made this team what I thought were a bunch of all-stars from North Balfour area. And I don't know if anybody knows what the mercy rules, but if you get 7 goals above you or whatever, it's mercy. The game's over. Well, man, we got mercy every game. And first game I played, though, I was standing there and I can't remember. I think it was Don Burnstick's Redskins we played, and I couldn't skate, so I'm skating to the opposite end, and I get into their zone, and I'm standing by the net because I can't skate, so I'm kind of like holding on to the net every once in a while, and then the puck goes down to our zone, and comes back, and they're stopped, and they're like, and the goalie's talking to me, he's like, oh, he says, man, are you stupid? He says, it's offside. Get onside. I was like, bro, I don't even know what the fucking offside is. I said, what are you talking about? He's like, you have to be on that side of the blue line before the puck can come in here with your team. I was like, oh my God. So I go to the boards and I'm like kind of inching my way to the blue line, the bench. All of a sudden, boom, I got suckered. What the hell? And I turned, and one of Don Burnstick's players was like, you're the tough guy? He says, yeah, you're the tough guy. I said, bro, I can't even skate, man. What makes you think I'm a tough guy? He's like, nope, you're the tough guy. So I'm like, whatever, man. And then he threw a punch again and hit me. I'm like, what the hell? So he went to throw another one, so I dropped my gloves, and it was like 3 shots, and I rocked him, like wobbled him. Boom. Then he was holding on for dear life, like, and his knees are buckled. Man, and I just got the greatest feeling ever. I was like, yeah, So I come off, and all the boys are giving me like high fives and stuff. And when I come off, I went to. First of all, I thought it was just a penalty, like the NHL. You go to the box, and you get out 5 minutes later, and you can come back out and fight again. No, you get kicked right out of the game in native tournaments. So I go out, and these little kids were sitting there, and they're like, man, you really kicked his ass. We didn't think you were going to do nothing. You can't even skate. I was like, yeah, I'll work on my skating for next year, boys. And literally, man, that's where my love of hockey came from. And by the next year, I could, fly around the ice a little bit. I went to noon hour shinnies and practiced. I went to the ODR, and it progressed and it progressed. And it's, I love hockey, for any of you guys that know me. I do some business out there.
Yeah.
For sure, yeah. If you guys don't know, man, Jake Chakita is the entertainment, man. If you guys go to a res 30 anywhere, Saskatchewan, Alberta, BC, yeah, you want to see the goal scorers, but everybody in the entire house is there to see Jason Chakita. And there's been a few guys here and there, that want to, pull the pin. There it is, right there. You don't want that coming near you. But there's been a couple of guys, here and there that have decided, hey, maybe it's time to test you out, see what it's like to go Chakita. So I want to know a little bit about some of the tougher guys that you've seen on the ice, and a little bit about your time too. I know people may not know this, but Jay's Fighting got him a professional contract with the Wichita Thunder. So talk to us a little bit about some of the tough guys you faced and your trip down to Wichita in the big leagues.
First off, any guy that's willing to drop the gloves with anybody, hats off to you. Kudos. It's a different aspect of the game. Tyson didn't want to pull the pin, but it's a way different aspect of the game that people think. A lot of people think it shouldn't be in there, and I do definitely think it has its place in hockey, not because I'm an enforcer myself, but I see what it does when I do my thing, and I know what it does. I can single-handedly win a game or a tournament with my presence.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
And every guy that I have fought is tough in their own way, no matter what. Probably two toughest guys I ever fought were a Treaty 6 League. I think it was Dustin Kashane. God damn, was he tough. Man, I hit that guy so hard. Like, he literally had golf ball sized goose eggs on his head from me punching him so hard. And then buddy that played for Meadow Lake Stampeders actually just came back from the AHL. He played for Jersey's farm team. There was Steve Spencer. He was a tough dude, a big boy too. You know, there was, you know, pretty tough boys. And like I said, I nothing but respect for anybody that dropped anybody on the ice. You know, unless you're out there just to hurt somebody or end somebody's career, you know, there's no need for that crap. And then that's where I come into play. But yeah, funny thing is, you know, I worked my way. Like I said, I started at 24, 25 years old skating. I moved to Alberta after a while, and I lived out in Edmonton, and I worked for a golf course out in Enoch. And I was sitting there on the driving range one day. So what would happen is if I worked a morning shift, I'd open, and then after my shift, I'd go sit on the driving range for a couple hours. Or if I worked an evening, I'd go an hour before and I'd hit sit on range. So I'm sitting on the driving range, and I get a phone call. I look down on my phone, and you know, on your phones it tells you where it's coming from, like Saskatoon or whatever, and it said Wichita, Kansas. I'm like, what the hell? So I'm sitting there, and I open my phone, and buddy's like, hey, this is Kevin McClellan, GM and head coach of Wichita Thunder in the Central. And I was like, okay. And he's like, yeah, he says, I've seen some videos, I've got your name. Actually, big shout out to my homie Robin Big Snake, another professional hockey player, tough guy. That actually got me some exposure down there. Much love, brother. I appreciate it. You know, you always got a place in my heart, no matter what, in my home. You're a great man. But my brother Robin actually mentioned my name to these gentlemen down there. And with this phone call, I thought buddy was pissing around, right? Like, nobody wants a res goon, or, you know what I mean? So I was like, yeah, okay, whatever, right? Blah, blah, blah. And I didn't think nothing of it. I listened to the spiel, and he's like, all right. He said, I'll forward you some information. He says, then we'll talk some more. So 2 days later, he forwards me some information on contracts, this and that. He's like, okay, sending you over the contracts. He says you can sign it and whatnot. So I looked over the contract. Sure enough. Oh, of course, first of all, my big question was, well, how much money am I going to make? Right? And he's like, well, you know, we're not the New York Rangers here or nothing. He said, you know, but we can offer you a little bit. So this is when I was 34 years old. So 10 years after I started playing hockey. 34, 35. I'm like, okay. So I signed a contract. You know, it wasn't with what's her name, because she would have done me in. Priscilla. But so I signed this contract, send it off. I've still got a copy of my contract. I keep it, you know, just to, you know, say I did it. You know what I mean? From where I came from being group homes to federal penitentiaries to being high-ranking gang member to playing professional hockey, I did it. You know, and let that show everybody out there, no matter who you are, where you come from, if you put your mind to it, if you have a goal, set it, you know, you can do it no matter what. I went from skating like Bambi to playing in the show with these boys, and well, I classified it as a show. It wasn't the NHL show. um, and I got a call from the equipment manager and asked me my skate size, and then he started talking crazy, like, "Oh yeah, which pattern you like on your curve? What's your lie? What's your man?" I didn't even know what the hell any of that was. I said, "I just come there to punch people." I said. He started laughing, and I went down there. It wasn't great money. I'll tell you that much. It's not great money. You know what I mean? If you're a 20, 21-year-old, young guy with no wife and kids, no house to pay for back home, you'll love it. I had kids, bills, a house, all this stuff back in Alberta. So I went down for a couple of weeks just to say I did. And, I got into my first fight, an exhibition game, and the crowd went wild. And, I won my fight. And one of the craziest feelings in my life, listening to 10+ thousand people, going free. Like, I've been to sold out barns at, Native Stanley Cup, which is a great feeling as well. But when you got 10,000 plus people, man, and you could feel the energy, like it was unreal, and I did that. And then I told him, I said, this is not for me. It's just, I've got priorities. I've got, bills to pay, and, I got to be smart about this. And, I came back to work, and, it was a great opportunity. And I'd like to, thank the Wichita Thunder organization for that. Yeah. So.
Yeah, bro. So what was your first 1,000 in a room experience? Like, when did you start getting that exposure? Like you put a team together, but then what was the step from there? Because like now, like everybody wants to hire Jason Chakita. Like everybody. Like if you could get Jason Chakita on your team, then you pretty much won that tournament in terms of hockey. So like, what was the step from your Friendship Center team?
Oh man. I don't know. I had to put in a lot of work to get to that, to that point in life. But I think at the time the going rate was 500 in a room. And I got a call, and it was after All Native one time. Actually, it was so. Jordan Roach, another gentleman from North Balfour, my brother. Played pro, went to the Quebec League, another tough guy. I fought him at All Native, and it was just a bro fight, And I told him, let's go. I said, I'm bored, let's put on a show. And I was actually kind of worried because, Roachie's, he was a tough guy, and he fought all these pros. But you know what? I had to test myself. I had to make sure I could stay on that level and fight on that level and compete. So we did. And it was good. He hit me with one or two. I hit him with a couple, and boom, we hit the ice. We got up, and the next weekend, people saw that I fought Roachie. And Roachie was, a tough guy, a guy to be reckoned with in those days for hockey tournaments. And not only could he fight, he could play hockey. Me at that time wasn't really playing hockey. It was more fighting. Yeah. But I worked my way up. And I got a call from I can't remember which team it was, but there was another tournament, and they offered me my money and whatnot. So I did it. And then people starting to realize, like I said, I'm not trying to fill my head and make myself look like the biggest, baddest dude out there. When I was on the ice or on the bench, you could see the difference in a game or in a tournament. And it's, and it's crazy, just the effect of one person. So then, I started getting multiple offers. Then I said, well, sorry, man, I'm thinking about this team because they already offered me this. Then all of a sudden they started giving more money and more money and more money. And I was like, geez, man, this is what it's like, you know? And it just kind of escalated from there. And, you know, I'm grateful that, I have that opportunity and I still have that opportunity. And it's awesome.
Yeah, bro. And like, enforcers are such an important part of the game, even to this day too, Ray. Like you know what I mean? It's like you need them. Otherwise, there's gonna be those guys who are assholes on the ice who get at your star players, right? And that's a lot of teams lose because they don't have a tough guy. Like look at like our team, the Pittsburgh Penguins. They don't really have a tough guy a lot of the time, right? So like people are hacking on Crosby, but like once you have a tough guy there, all that stops.
Yeah. Tone for the rest of the ice. Jay's the best at it. I want to get into a little bit more. You spoke on it a little bit earlier, but it's a very important topic, and it's one that I think you would be one of the best to talk about it. But it's mental health, and it's the things that you're going through and the things with anxiety of the systems in place, and a little bit about I'm going through this right now because I'm at a change in my life, and I'm looking back on some of the things that I've done. I haven't done things to the level that you've done, but I've done some things that I'm not proud of, and I've hurt some people, and I've made a lot of mistakes. And I guess more of anything, I just kind of want some advice, bro, because I think that you're in a position to give it. I just want to know a little bit, how do you carry that weight of your past life, and how do you kind of take it forward, and how do you carry that in a good way and try to stay positive about everything that's going on?
It kind of all goes back to the motto of be a better person today than I was yesterday. Like I said, I've got demons that'll never go away. I've done some shit in my life that'll haunt me till the day I die, and I think honestly, from my perspective, I honestly think everybody on this planet deals with some form of mental health issue. Everybody, and that's not a bad thing. It's not. Everybody has their ways of coping, and so what I found out is I said this along earlier in the cast. I used to blame everybody for my problems, right? Oh well, if he didn't do this, I wouldn't have had to punch him out, or you know what I mean? Well, I could have just turned the other cheek and walked away. But what I've come to realize in learning, I've read a lot of books in my life, being incarcerated, and even now. I've learned that being a First Nations person in Canada, we were not meant to survive. Like literally, the government was trying to eradicate us from the earth. And I'm not gonna sit there and play the First Nations card. It's fact, right? You go to Google any goddamn thing about First Nations and the government and them trying to. My whole point about this is, me being a First Nations person, I was not given what society calls tools to cope with all the stuff and shit that happened in my life to become a normal person, as what society was. You know what? Normal to people is different. So I don't know what people classify as normal. But, I think it would be more of to live as a productive citizen in your community. That's what I think would state it better. But we as First Nations people are not given those tools. We're not. Like, you could look at anywhere, our systems are I think our chief and council, when we're given say $30 million to do something with, and our people, oh, hey, we got $30 million. Can we have some money? So right away, I noticed and realized that people, they'll give them money, but they won't implement programs or hire the people to come in to teach us those tools to cope with our problems. And that's not always the case. We've had this stuff for so long, and it's going to take so many years to change it around where everybody in our community is going to have the tools to cope. It's going to take generations, but we have to start somewhere. And that's why I threw my hat in for my nation, to run for council. And you know what? Would I do it again? Yes. It's given me a lot of anxieties, and you really find out who your true friends and family really are. I'm there to try and better my community. And I'll leave that at that. You know what I mean? For politics wise, this is not a place for politics. You know what I mean? This is me being raw and telling you. But we need people out there in those communities to start bringing people that are qualified and certified and getting our youth, because it starts at the youth. Mm-hmm. It does. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. Our adults need to be educated and stuff as well. But it's easier to educate our youth because they're not brainwashed by this faulty system the government's already put in place. Right? I deal with depression on a daily basis. I've been shot, I've been stabbed. I went through, a couple. I've been, I was in a relationship for 18 years, and I got out of that about 2 years ago, and I was in a really dark place when I first left that relationship, and it wasn't because of the relationship. It was because I was lost. I didn't know what to do. I didn't, you know what I mean? I didn't know, I didn't know how to pay a bill. I didn't know, I didn't know where to pay my phone bill. I didn't, you know what I mean? I just, and that on itself, as long with the breakup, kind of weighed in so much more, heavier. I packed up all my things. I was, my relationship was over, and I don't know. Some people, I've told a few people this, but I have to have, whether it's a little light on or the TV on when I sleep, because when I wake up in the dark, it takes me to a bad place, and it sets me off into, anxiety and severe depression, and so the one day I was in the basement and I was packing all my stuff, and I laid down on the couch and I fell asleep. It was daylight, and I woke up and it was pitch black, and I went into a very, very bad place, and I walked into my room. I grabbed my handgun. I came into the living room. I sat down. This was 2 years ago, and I put the gun in my mouth and I pulled the trigger, and it just went click. I pulled the chamber back and the round popped out, but it's got a little dent in it. I still have the round to myself. I have it sitting at home right now to remind me that, I think I'm here for a bigger reason. And, it's hard, I used to come home from work at 3 a.m. when I worked at the casino, and I'd walk into my daughter's room and I'd give her a kiss at night, and I'd thank her every night. for being the light in my dark world. And it's it's hard. I battle depression every day, and and I can say honestly, I have thoughts of suicide every once in a while. Sometimes they're worse, sometimes they're not. But does that make me any less of a man? No. Does it make me any less human? No. And stuff like this, talking about it, and it's it's kind of a therapy for me, right? Like, it helps a lot. Like, it really does. It still fucking hurts, like you wouldn't believe. It's hard. People don't understand. And you try and explain to somebody, and like I said, everybody has their own demons, right? So you might not know what I'm going through, and I don't know what you're going through. And it's sometimes it's the worst feeling on earth. You know what I mean?
Yeah, bro.
First, I just want to say sorry, River. I didn't mean to cut you off, but thank you for sharing this, because I see you, and I see a godlike figure when I look at you, Jay. I see somebody that, since I was a little boy, that's protected me and watched over me and made sure that I was somebody that was going to be okay. That I got to this point right now. And it means a lot, just to share that and to show you're human, because this resonates with people. This is why people adore you. This is why people love you. And there's so many people out there, River, you can attest to this, that you're like a big blanket. That's the best way I can describe it. You're a blanket that just covers people and gives them warmth and love, and to know, that you struggle just like the rest of us, and that's a hard burden you have to carry, to be everyone's protector, to be everyone's person, their brother, their companion, so I just wanted to say thank you, River, if you've got anything.
Nah, bro, you're not the only one who's emotional here, man. Like, listening to you, bro, I choked up a few times, man. Like, it takes me back to some like more sadder times of my life, and just listening to your story, it's like so admirable, man. And we have to get rid of this stigma that like men can't show emotions, because like, look at you, you're Jason Chakita, you're one of the most baddest mans on the planet, you know what I mean, bro? And like, you cry, and like, everybody should be okay to cry. We should all have that safe space where we can cry, bro. And like, I just want to commend you for coming on here and being honest and real, because this is so inspiring to not only to me and Raymond. Like, this is why we do this, but we also do this for our community. And that's the most important thing we could do, is because you work for your community too. And we may not realize it right now, but I think we're making a huge impact on everybody listening, and just ourselves going forward. There's so much healing within this, and it's so powerful, man. Like, I'm just happy to be talking to you again, bro, and it just makes me feel so content that you're willing to do this for us, for real. It's
and like I said again, man, like we have this stigma out here as males, as Indigenous men, that we need to be hard all the time. We need to wear this mask of invincibility, of toughness, of I'm the biggest, baddest guy on the planet. But to see you and to be able to come in here and express those things and show them that they're not alone in this, because there's a lot of times I feel like, why we look to suicide, why we look to drugs and alcohol, why we look to so many of these other things. It's because we're alone in this, and we're not alone. And for you to show us that we're not alone, bro, it's very motivational, and this just made me feel something that I know, I'm not alone, and we're not alone either. None of us are alone in this anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And we need more men having their brothers back, and we need more men willing to be that shoulder to cry on for other men. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with crying on your brother's shoulder. Like, it's we're only that it's a human instinct to do whenever you're feeling excited about something, or else whenever you're feeling sad about something, you cry. There's nothing wrong with that at all, bro. And I can't put it in words how much I respect you, bro.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
I want to tell you guys something really quickly. If you guys don't know, Jason is the most talented person I know. I'm not going to lie. Video games, the best at. Hockey, figured it out, got a pro contract. Basketball, anything you want to play against this guy, he's got you beat. But one thing that I think is just, it takes the cake, is your music, because you can hear the sound of your voice, and it doesn't sound like anybody else, and it's so beautiful. So before we talk about music, I just want to cue up a video real quick, brother, because I went and stole this off your Snapchat. So ladies and gentlemen, here's Jason Chakita. Let's let it.
I can't shoot them anymore. The cold black cloud is coming down. I feel I'm knocking on heaven's door. Knocking on heaven's door.
Hey, no, that's amazing, man. What the hell? All of a sudden, man, like I said, jack of all trades. Tell us a little bit about your music, bro. Do you like making music? Obviously, I know you got some big projects coming up, some bigger things. Talk to us a little bit about what music means to you and where you're going with it.
So for me, first and foremost, music is a therapy. You know, it's you can sit there and any emotion you have, you can find a song for that. You know, and if I'm feeling shitty sometimes, I'll go find a song that I know I'm gonna feel and it's gonna help me cry, and I'll just cry. You know what I mean? and I'll sit there and I'll let it out, and I'll feel that song. You know, and my late grandfather and my late auntie Charlene actually really got me into music. You know, I used to love listening to my auntie Charlene sing. She was in a band, and you know, after she got sick, you know, and she passed, I stopped singing and I stopped doing a lot of things music wise, and then, you know, I was starting to feel it, and then I lost my grandfather, and you know, it that hit me just as hard, and I literally stopped, and you know, and it was just these past few years where I wanted to get back into music, and you know, you're talking about Uncle Joey there, my brother Joey Styles. You know, man, love the guy. You know, such a great role model for our youth, and out there just literally trying to help other musicians. You know, called me up one day and he's like, brother, he says, I'm in Saskatoon. He says, bring your guitar. And, you know, so I brought my guitar, and well, Ray, this is when Ray was living in Saskatoon. And I said, hey, Ray, I said, we got to go check out Joey's. He's going to the gym. We recorded a song actually in a boxing gym with just a mic and a laptop and a guitar. And so, you know, like I said, Ray was there. I laid down a 4-chord progression, and then we added a little bit of drums to it. And, you know, within 20 minutes, I wrote a hook. Actually, Ray had a little bit of input in my hook. You know, and you know, it sounds great. You know, I'd love to play it for you now. I'm not really allowed to. We're actually working on making a video, and it will be released. And I can't wait. I'm pumped. you know, and I'd like to thank my brother Joey for this opportunity. You know what I mean? He's always been there, you know, um, helping me out with his music, you know, and it's it just music means so much to me, you know, and I don't classify myself as even a good musician, you know, but I love it, and that's all that matters. You know, I love it, and it's like a therapy for me, and it makes me feel good. You know, it helps me to survive. Um, when I'm in those dark areas, you know, it helps me to come out of them. Um, People think I'm crazy because, like, if you look at my playlist, everybody sees me, right? I'm 6'7", 350 pounds. I wear big baggy clothes, and not because I'm gangster, because they're comfortable, because I'm so damn big. Uh, and you know, I got tattoos all over the place. Um, but my playlist is ranges from, you know, I can go to Mozart to, you know, country to metal to hip hop to reggae, um, you know, Michael Bublé, Frank Sinatra. I don't know what people realize, but I love 50s music. You know, I wish I was back. I wish I was a greaser back in those days. You know what I mean? You know, uh, but I listen to every kind of music you can listen to. There you go, Enrique Iglesias,
Taylor Swift. I know you can belt the Taylor Swift song.
Yo,
T Swift.
bro,
I actually recorded a T Swift tune for my daughter one time. You know, um, what's the other dudes there? 5 Seconds of Summer. I went to a concert with my daughter for that. You know, and I just love music. Man, music expresses everything that needs to be expressed in life. You know, and that goes back to that mental health stuff, right? Like, man, I'm putting this out there for anybody ever, ever. If you ever need to talk, you're feeling down, doesn't matter. Hit me up. You know, I think my Facebook is kind of maxed out, but you can send me a message and I'll get it. You know what I mean? And we can chat, or you know, message me. I'll give you my number. We can talk. You know, I've done it for hundreds of people. You know, and everything we talk about goes to the grave with me. You know, I'm just, um, you know, like Ray and River said before, I'm that guy that's always trying to protect and help everybody else. You know, and that's probably one of my major faults is I don't take enough time to help myself. You know, and to me that don't matter. You know, as long as my friends and my family are good and you know and they're eating and healthy, and that's what matters to me. You know, and you know I've been through some stuff in my life where that's all there was my family and friends, and I'll never forget that. You know, um, everybody. You know what I mean? You don't bat an eye at what people think about you. It don't matter. All that matters is how you feel and what makes you feel good. You know, don't worry about, you know what I mean, wearing Gucci or Walmart. Fuck, I still rock Walmart. I don't give a shit.
Real shit.
You know what I mean? I don't care. Like, you know, obviously you want to buy yourself some nice clothes or whatever, but you know what I mean? It's stature is nothing. You know, like your belongings are nothing. When you die, you ain't gonna be wearing shit but probably your braids and your rubber boots that they put on you and your wraparounds. You know what I mean?
For
You
sure.
ain't got nothing. You know, and and you just have to realize that once we realize that the material things in life are nothing, and what people think about you, it doesn't matter. Your life will be so much easier. You know, um, mental health, like I said, doesn't matter if you cry. I cry. I like I said, I honestly think I'm the toughest guy I know. But you know what I mean. But I'm not afraid to show emotion. But if you also know who I am. I don't have a tough guy persona. When I'm with my bros, man, we sit there, we laugh, we talk, you know what I mean? We jam all, we just do fun things, you know what I mean? I'm the most lovable, respectable guy, and that's the way I always was and always will be. You know what I mean? But there's a switch that if somebody messes with my friends or my family, you know what I mean, I'll take care of it. And that's just the way I am. You know, don't don't ever let anybody make you feel bad about showing emotion. And I'm putting this on you guys as well as watchers, you know, as spectators here watching this. Don't make people feel bad when they show emotion. We as Native men, I know that for a fact. We as Native men do that to our bros all the time, nonstop, right? Even if it's jokingly, that still builds, you know, into a person's mind and saying, well, you know, they're gonna think I'm not manly because I'm crying or, you know, or whatever. But believe me, if you cry, I personally think that's more manly than anything you can do if you're a man or a woman. You know what I mean? I guess I can't say manly, but you know, it's it's out there. Cry, let it out. Talk to people. You know, find somebody you trust and talk to them. You know, and if you can't trust anybody, there is helplines out there that you can call, and they do work. You know, and that's what music is for me. You know, it helps me with all that stuff, and
Yeah, bro. No, for sure. And we all have to find some kind of healthy outlet. It doesn't have to be destructive. Find something that you love to do, whether it's playing Xbox, whether it's going for a walk, whether it's doing art, playing music, writing something down. There's always a healthy outlet for when you I guess when we feel down, and you just have to find it and keep going until you find it. I want to ask one thing though, bro. With the Joey Styles Bastards video, how did you get in there with the little eye patch, bro? How did that happen?
no, Joey, well, a lot of people know me. I do a lot of security for certain people. You know what I mean? Like some celebrities, you know, athletes, COOs. Like I do private security, and I grew up with Joey. You know what I mean? You know, I didn't hang around a lot with him because, you know, I was in and out of prison or whatnot, and but he's always been my brother. You know, and I'm like that with anybody, right? If at any time you ever feel, you know, it was a pirate face, that, you know, there was somebody threatening your livelihood or your lifestyle and whatnot, I'll be around. You know what I mean? I'll gladly help you out. But we were always in the music stuff, and you know, every time I came back home, it was always, you know, everybody knows me, everybody respects me, or there was that fear that was taken as a respect. They feared me so they wouldn't do nothing dumb, you know, which is not respect. You know what I mean? It's just fear. So I always, you know, hung around with the boys, made sure stuff went right, and you know, I was talking with Joey one day, and he's like, "Yeah," he says, "we got some stuff coming up." He says, "Let's come hang out. You know, we'll go do some music videos and shoot." And he asked me, "You want to be in the video?" And I was like, "Yeah." Actually, the other guy with the eye patch is my homie, and we actually recorded at his boxing gym. Is where we recorded our song. You know, so it's pretty a Black Star Boxing Club in Saskatoon. Great place as well. Chetty Selkirk knows what he's doing. You guys get out there if you're in Saskatoon. Look him up. But yeah, so we're out there, and had on this little skinny V-neck or whatever, and it was like fall, and it was like chilly, like 8 degrees, and I didn't have my coat on. I was more worried about my nipples sticking out than anything, but it was kind of blurred out, so it was kind of cool. But yeah, and it was just the Bastards video it was pretty good.
Hey,
That's dope, bro. That's dope.
We're gonna take a few fan questions, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys for sticking around. If you guys got a question for Mr. Jason Chakita, go ahead and ask him, man. We'll wait till these come in. I just want to say real quickly again, I'm gonna thank you a few more times before this is over, but thank you again for sharing all that, bro, because that takes a lot off of us. I'm sure. Hopefully, it took a lot off of you too, and we can just come on here and vibe, man. So, see if some questions come pop in.
Yeah, I mean, people always ask questions like at the beginning of these podcasts.
They ask like,
They ask like really good questions like while we're like mid conversation, but like fan questions are for the end, guys.
I got a quick question for you, Jay. If there is, there's somebody that's in the life right now, a young gang member, somebody that's caught up in the systems, man. Just give them a few words that you might give somebody like that, to stay, the life for them or anything like that.
Well, first and foremost, nothing but respect to everybody. You know what I mean? I said I show everybody respect, whether you're a gangster or not. And I don't mean no disrespect to any gangsters or anybody when I talk or tell my story, and being part of a crew nowadays it's nothing, like, especially in the lifestyle that we're living, that they're living, I guess you could say now, is that you have to realize everybody preaches about being gangster and hard and not a rat and not a snake, but you know what? The minute you go to prison, they're trying to take home your old lady, or even when you're out, you know what I mean? They're hitting her up in the inboxes, or and there's so many of these people that are just telling on each other, and but they brag about not telling on each other, not being a rat, and and all these guns and shit. It is what it is. We grew up in that lifestyle, and there's other ways to get that sense of belonging, and this going back on what River said, whether it be sports or art, it doesn't have to be just sports. I made my way out playing sports and doing music and whatnot, but that doesn't have to be. It could be, you know what I mean? It could go to culinary school, you know what I mean? Be a cook. You could be a pro fighter, MMA. You could do boxing. You could do art. You could, anything you want. Remember, it's not just about athletes, right? Poetry. You name it, right? There's so many ways to help you get to where you need to go and what you figure out what you love to do and start doing that. But if you got people that are in the gang right now looking to get out, it's hard. It really is. It's one of the hardest things I've ever done. Was getting out of that lifestyle, and what made it 100 times easier was moving away from North Battleford, because that's where I grew up, and all my operations were, and all the people I knew, and all that lifestyle. I still got friends and family that are in that lifestyle here. And I moved back. It took me 14 years to come home, right? I think if I would have came home any sooner, I might have, fell back into that lifestyle. But I had to build up my strengths and my mentality enough to make sure that I wouldn't fall back into that lifestyle. And I love my brothers out here that are still in that lifestyle, and it hurts me to see some of the stuff that they go through, and brothers and sisters, you know what I mean, and it's sometimes it's easier just to get up and go, keeping you away from those people that you grew up with or hang around with all the time that keep you in that lifestyle is one of the easiest ways to stay away from that stuff, right? Because once you get back into the group setting of the people you were with, it just everything goes out the window, that sense of belonging you feel is false. They don't love you. They don't. And that's the God's honest truth. Women trying to be in that gangster lifestyle, well, shit, I don't know if you realize what happens to a woman, but, they get you in there, they get you doped up, pass you around. One bro will have you for a month or two, then they pass you around. Then when they're done with you, they put you out hooking or selling yourself, you know what I mean? And, it's everybody makes this lifestyle out to be this big, cool thing. Remember back earlier when I said how I started? Because I watched all these gangster movies and I thought, oh, yeah, cars, money, women. Well, I tell you what, ain't nothing like that. And honestly, if you look at all these street gangs out there, man, they're driving mom's station wagon or minivan, and I'm like, seriously, right?
Yeah.
And it's no disrespect. It's the God's honest truth.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be a gangster. Everybody wants to be hard, and you're driving a minivan trying to sell dope at 7-Eleven. Or you're using more product than you sell. You know what I mean? Like,
For sure. Bro.
And like I said, there's people wanting to get out of the gang life. There's people you can call, people you can talk to in your community. It's harder in smaller communities because everybody talks, and everybody knows everybody. If anybody's looking for help, you can message me. You know what I mean? I can do whatever I can to help you out, set you on the right path. Talk to the right people. But try and steer clear of the stuff you're accustomed to. Like going over to homies and doing hood rat shit with my hood rat friends.
Hey, no cap. All right, we got a few questions here now, brother. First one we'll go to Wade Falcon here. Who or what would you say was your biggest influence when you decided to change your life around? And thank you for sharing your story, she says as well too.
Oh man, I can't really just put it on one person.
Yeah.
I don't know if I tell the people in my life, my circle, enough that I love them and I appreciate them, and I try and put it out there often, and man, it's all of you people, you've all been an integral part of my life and helping me change. And it's maybe when my daughter was born, I think that was probably the biggest influence. An aspect of my life that made me change. But honestly, everybody that's told me, hey, chin up, bro, you know what I mean, you'll get through this, or given me some sort of words of encouragement, or even, man, somebody just saying hi. You know what I mean? I get a message from somebody and they say, hey, bro, how's it going? How you doing? Man, I'm telling you, when you battle depression and shit the way I battle depression, somebody messaging you with a simple, hey, how you doing, means the world. And I've had just so many people do that. Like, I post when I'm feeling shitty and depressed, I post shit on Facebook. I express myself. You know what I mean? And I get so many people that message me, and it's not for attention. It's because for me, writing it out or speaking it helps me heal. Right?
Mhm.
And you know what? There's a lot of people out there that say, "Oh, I don't want to hear that shit." You know what? There's a delete button. You know, I I look at Facebook and I look for people like that. You know what I mean? Hey, how's your day, bro? I hope everything's going good. If you need to chat, and it's just stuff like that. And not um, every I'd have to say everybody in my life has attributed to the man I've become today, and I'm greatly appreciated. But yeah, now time for the small chronic break.
Hey, yes,
Hey.
sir. We got two more questions. Two more questions.
All
We'll
right.
take this one. Yeah.
What are your words of advice for Raymond and River in the direction they are headed? From Auntie Krista.
So my words of advice for Ray and River. You know what? Sorry. I've watched both you guys, go through some trying times. You know what I mean? We all battle our own demons, whether it be through ourselves or through our family members or our friends. I just say keep doing what you guys are doing. Be who you are. Keep spreading the positivity. I honestly can't say too much because you're both outstanding young gentlemen, both handsome lads, and you're doing it. You're doing it right now, and keep that up and just keep doing what you're doing. You know what I mean? Don't sway from the path, and don't let anybody deter you. You know what I mean? Like me and Ray talked a little bit last week about some bullshit, and I told him that I told him before that's exactly what's going to happen in your lifestyle, and you'll start seeing it. Then you got to start weeding that stuff out. It doesn't matter. Like I said, it doesn't matter how much money you have. Doesn't matter if you're the best looking man on the earth. Doesn't matter if you're the most well-known person. You're always going to have an issue at some point in your life. You're going to battle a demon, and the more people you have in your circle that you can trust and you can talk to about that is going to help you a lot along the way.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are young. Learn as you live your life, and that's exactly what life is about. It's all about learning. And then once you learn, take that and give back. You know what I mean? And this podcast, I've loved every episode. And it's given back. I can say I appreciate you, brothers, and I love you, and yeah, that's my words of advice.
And we couldn't do it alone. We wouldn't be able to do it without people like you coming on here, sharing your stories and giving back. Like, this is a group effort. This is a community that we're trying to build to help everyone, including ourselves.
For sure. All right, we're gonna keep it light for the last question. Here we go. You ever lose a hockey fight before, Jay?
No.
Simple answer. There you go. No, probably not gonna happen. Just saying.
I might have to retire here real quick because these young guys are getting pretty tough.
Yeah, they're chomping at the bit, trying to get at Chakita. You know what? What we like to do here, Jay, is we'll come back on and we'll say our thank yous. But what we like to do is we like to elevate our guests a little bit. So we're going to put you on the main screen. If you've got a message for anybody that needs to hear it, just go ahead and give them that message right now. And, just whatever comes to you, brother, just give them that. We're going to take a back seat here.
First and foremost, appreciate the love and support everybody's given to me. if at any point in your lives you need somebody to talk to or need some help, my my door is always open, or my messenger, or whatever ways you get a hold of me. Um, I don't always have the right answers. Sometimes there is no right answer. I do know from what I've lived through in my experiences, and usually when I share my stories and what I went through, um, it helps, and it shows people, um, that there is hope, and always remain positive, no matter what. You know, you're gonna have troubles in your life. You're gonna have issues. You're gonna have roadblocks, but you have to remain positive. It's so easy to become negative in this lifestyle and in this day and age when all we see is negativity around us. Remain positive. Um, if you remain positive, you keep everything in your circle positive, um, and you'll think better. You'll deal with things a lot better. Um, and just love one another and stop hating everybody. You know, we don't need this. You know what I mean? Everybody's shooting at everybody for nothing. Or bringing each other down. Just be positive and love everybody and accept everybody for what they are, and just my motto: try and be a better person today than I was yesterday, and uplift people around you.
Hey,
Hey,
thank you, brother. I just want to say, man, like I said a little bit earlier in the podcast, Jason's like a god to me, man. Honest to God, he's a god in living form. He's that blanket, that I can go to, somebody that I look up to. I used to look up to you for the wrong reasons, because I used to think you were the biggest, baddest guy, which you still are. But then I got to know Jason Chakita, the person. I got to know you as a brother. You've always watched out for me. You made sure that I didn't have to get involved in anything because you were there for me. So I just want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you again for coming on and sharing your story, because your stories like yours are why I want to do this. Stories like yours are going to change the world, bro, because you've been through it all. You've been through the ringer, and to come through on the other side and just to send messages of positivity and light and just being a beautiful soul that you are. I just want to say thank you again, brother. So, River.
thanks, bro. You did the damn thing, bro. You came on here. You rocked the boat. You shared laughs with us. You shed tears. It was good all around, man. And I just can't wait to have you on again, bro. And I can't wait to come hang out with you when I go back home. Like, me and Ray will be home in a couple weeks from school, and we're just gonna kick it. And it's gonna be a good time. Good time, bro.
Oh, yeah.
All right, brother. Well, I think we're going to let you go. Thank you again for joining us, bro. We're going to have you on again, no doubt, man. Thank you again, Big Chakita, man. Much love.
Hey.
All right, boys. Much love. Have a good night,
bro. Yeah, you too.
Damn, bro. It's like every time we do this, man, it gets more real. It gets more serious. We get into topics that we didn't even know we wanted to talk about, And for him to come on and share that story, man, and give us that on our podcast, I can't thank him enough. So.
Yeah, bro. No, I don't know what to say that I didn't already say, man. Like, we look up to him so much, right? He's been my big brother since I can remember, and yeah, man, it was another good episode.
Hey, no doubt. Hey, so our next guests. Hey, man, we got some news coming for you guys, man. We got the Indigenous Gaming panel coming through. So we've got Marmar Gaming. We've got Chance Claps, and we got Moose Tree Gaming sitting down telling us about, the gaming life. Man, these guys are all supportive towards each other. It's so dope. They've built a brotherhood through their Indigenous gaming platforms, and it's really dope. They got a great story. We're super excited for that next Sunday. Yeah,
for real. Go check them out on Facebook, Twitch, Moose Tree Gaming on Facebook and Twitch. We got Chance Claps. And we got Marmar Gaming. They usually run Warzone custom lobbies and whatnot.
Moose Tree's blowing up.
And Moose Tree's been blowing up lately, for real. But yeah, we're just gonna have some laughs, see how those guys do their thing. Gonna see what's going on with them, and yeah, cannot wait for next week already, bro. It's December. I know there's kind of a lockdown in Alberta, so maybe we'll start doing a pop-in podcast, maybe
Yeah.
once during the weekday or something,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah, be ready for that. We've been talking about it a little bit. Just come on and chill. Hey, yo, after this, there's two different things, depending on what you guys want to watch, man. There's Fawn in Dallas. They're doing a pop-up powwow song special. It's kicking off in about 9 minutes. If you go over to Fawn Woods' Facebook, she's going to be doing that. And then I believe at either 9 or 10, the Indigenous radio show is going live too.
Yeah.
So either one of those, both great programs, man. Take your pick. Y'all going to be entertained for the rest of your Sunday night, man. Merch is coming. We're excited. Everything's been going really great with this podcast, and we can't thank you guys enough for sticking by us, man, giving us that show support. Hey, bro, that Naruto art that just got put out yesterday?
Bro,
Should we
yeah.
put that on a shirt? We'll show you guys. We're going to put it on a shirt.
Yeah,
Y'all better buy it.
yeah. Go to our Facebook page. Look at the photo we uploaded yesterday. It's such a beautiful design, and yeah, bro, I can't wait to get that on a shirt.
Well,
But-
let's do this the right way, bro.
The right way.
Hey.
Hey.
Peace.
Peace.